This is the FlashTrack DSP microphone from Cloudvocal. DSP stands for Digital Signal Processors. That basically means that this microphone gives its users more control over their sound with its built-in EQ, compressor, and reverb presets, as well as the ability to create your own custom presets so you can truly get your sound out of the microphone. It's a small USB microphone, so it's mainly designed for home recording, but it can also be a great tool for things like live streaming, which is super important to me right now. I do a lot of live streaming over on TikTok, and great audio quality is important to me, and something like this will help me achieve that. On the back we can see where we can put all of our connections. It has a headphone port on the back so you can hear all of the sounds being captured by the microphone whilst you're live streaming or you're recording, which just makes the setup really simple. But that isn't it. It also has Bluetooth capabilities, so you can Bluetooth another device to the microphone like a laptop or a mobile phone, whatever it is, so you can actually Bluetooth transfer audio from a laptop, as an example, to the microphone, and then you can hear that audio through the headphones. So you can basically Bluetooth backing tracks or music to the microphone, sing over the top of it, and you can hear all of that through the headphone port on the back. And if you want to record any of this or use it for live streaming, like I keep saying, then you can just connect it to your phone or your laptop with the USB-C port on the back. Now, just because it's a microphone, that doesn't mean that it's only good for recording either vocals or acoustic instruments like acoustic guitars. I know a lot of saxophone players use this kind of thing. One thing I'm really excited about with this microphone is that I can actually plug in my audio effects unit for my electric guitar straight into the microphone also. So I can plug my electric guitar, get all of my electric guitar sounds straight into the microphone. So I've got guitar tones that I can hear through the microphone with the headphones, and then I can Bluetooth backing tracks and music to things like this to jam over the top of and talk into it at the same time. And that basically does everything that I need it to do. And I can record that, like I said, through the USB, or if I want to live stream all of that, then it's just plugged straight into my phone. And I can basically run everything through this microphone. It's like a little mini interface. And like I said earlier, it's got built-in reverbs, it's got compressors, it's got EQs, and also you can customize them to sound how you want to. So I can do all of that at the same time. That's a crazy amount of things for one microphone to do. So I know what you're thinking, that's a lot of information, and yes it is. That's a pretty intense overview of this microphone. I guess all we need to do now is plug it in and check it out in action. So Cloudvocal did reach out to me and send me the microphone to test out, and they also sent me some other things that go along with it. So firstly, we have a little stand here, which is kind of like a little tripod thing, so we can kind of extend the legs like this, put it down, which means that we can, rather than have the microphone on the surface, which is pretty cool, and it does stand up anyway like this, but now we've got a little stand that we can have it on as well, which attaches very easily, and we're good to go. And as well as having a cool stand to put it on, we also get a pop filter too, which is pretty important for obviously getting the best out of your audio recording. You don't want any unwanted noise and pops and clicks and things like that, so this just helps to go along with that. So we got the pop filter too, which is pretty cool. It just sits on the front like that. I think that looks really awesome. And as well as having all of that, we've got another little tool here. This looks like a little adapter to be able to mount this microphone to, say, a microphone stand or a boom arm or something like that. So no matter where you want this microphone, you can do that with either this or the little stand, or it just stands up by itself, which is pretty cool. And as well as all of that, they sent us a connection cable too. This is just normal USB to USB-C. They've also sent me a connection cable, which is USB-C on both sides, and we've got some instructions also. Okay, so I've got it all plugged in now, and first I want to test the microphone just for some general speaking and everything like that, and then I'm going to go through some of the settings. Like I said, it's got different volumes, EQs, everything like that, so we're going to test that out in a moment. But for the time being, it's currently recording, but you're not hearing the microphone just yet because this is my normal camera microphone. But now I'm going to switch over to the Cloudvocal microphone. So now this is the microphone that I have next to me, and hopefully you can hear a little bit of a difference there between the two. So when we first turned on the microphone, I've currently got it plugged into my laptop. It's recording on my laptop, and I'm using my in-ear monitors plugged straight into the headphone port at the back of the microphone currently. But when we first turn it on, we get this little screen here full of our levels. We have a microphone level, which is how loud obviously the microphone is picking things up. We have a music level. There's no music or anything going into it just yet, but that might fluctuate just a tiny bit. And then we have a volume level on the bottom, which is what I'm hearing in my headphones. All of this can be adjusted. So if I just quickly cycle up through these, I'm going to click on the volume button there. So firstly, we get a volume icon there, so I can then knock up and down how loud the microphone is actually going to be when I'm using it. I like it on around about 10. I don't want it too loud, so when I'm recording, then I can't get rid of the distortion if it adds anything like that. So I like a nice clear tone, so 10 is a good one for me. But if I press the volume button again, it then goes to the volume of the headphones, so I can hear things different levels, which I'm sure probably won't be coming up through this, but that did get louder in my ears then, so I'm going to stick to around about 12 for the volume of that. That goes back to the microphone. So then if I click over to EQ next, we have a warm EQ. That's the one I've been using, but I think we have a flat EQ to start with. So maybe you can tell a difference between these EQs. I'm going to speak a little bit closer to the microphone there. So this is the flat EQ. This is the warm EQ. I like this one because it kind of gets rid of some of that background hiss that I can hear in my ears. Then we go to clear EQ. So obviously there's a bit more hiss there, but you can hear a little bit of a difference. Bright EQ, that's got more top end. So that's what you get in there. And lastly, we get my EQ. So this is, like I said, you can create and save your own custom preset EQ settings. So if you can get a certain sound that you like, you can store it, you can create it, all that sort of stuff, so that it can be there when you need it. Now I'm on the compressors. So you can have a compressor off and then you can turn it on. I think I was on the cast, but I don't actually know what cast stands for. But we have a punch, dynamic, and sing. So sing obviously is a compressor probably aimed at people who want to use the microphone for doing some singing and stuff like that. And then obviously my compressor, you've got your own ability to create and save your own custom compressors also. So I'm going to go back to cast, which is what I had earlier. Reverb, there's no reverb on currently. If you're hearing a little bit of reverb, that's just my apartment. But then let's cycle up through these. Modern. So obviously that's a modern reverb setting. Concert, that's a lot more. That's like in a big stadium or a big hall or something. Live, so that's more of obviously aimed at like a small club sort of reverb. Classic, I like that one the best so far. And then KOK, that's a bit more, it's a bit deeper reverb. And then at the end, my reverb. Okay, so let's very quickly try and create our own kind of reverb just to sort of demonstrate that. If I press reverb, it's off currently. I'm going to cycle up to my reverb. If I press and hold the reverb button, we now get these options here. It says room, plate, hall, and chamber. So I'm thinking maybe a hall. Yeah, just a nice little hall reverb. If I press that again, my tone, that sounds more subtle to me towards this end of the thing. If you can see on there, so the slider is kind of over to the right. And if I then sort of flick that down, it gets a bit more of a, I don't know how to explain, like a harsher, more kind of top-endy sort of sound, which I don't like. So I'm going to flick back up to this side there. If I press and hold reverb again, or press reverb again, the space. So that's obviously cycling up how big the reverb is. I'm just thinking a nice gentle reverb. And the blend 2. Let's go just under halfway with the blend there. That's the reverb that I've created. It's just saved and it was super easy. Just press and hold the reverb button and then cycle up through the options and you can literally create something in seconds. But let's turn it off. But now I'm going to go and get my acoustic guitar and I'm going to see what the microphone sounds like for recording a little bit of acoustic. So let's go and do that now. As I mentioned earlier, one of the best things about this microphone, and currently I'm back to my camera audio for the time being, my camera microphone, is that this is my electric guitar amp simulator pedal. I use this to get all of my electric guitar tones when I'm live streaming, when I'm recording, everything like that. And I can plug this directly into the microphone, which I'm going to show you now. So if I go to the headphone output of my effects unit with just a normal jack cable, and then I'm just going to take the other end of that and I'm going to plug that into the auxiliary input on the microphone. So now that if I play anything with my electric guitar using the tones on this, those tones will be sent into the microphone also. And then obviously to hear it, I'm just going to use my in-ear monitors again, and I'll plug the in-ear monitors into the headphones. Now I've got my guitar plugged in. I think this sounds great. I've got a nice level on my guitar. It sounds great in my ears, and I've got a good level on the microphone too. It sounds awesome. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jam over a backing track which I'm Bluetoothing from my laptop to the microphone just by pressing the Bluetooth button on the back of the Cloudvocal microphone and obviously selecting that on my laptop. Great, and I can still talk over this anytime I want to, and you can hear everything. Love it. So there you go guys, there's a quick look at the Cloudvocal FlashTrack DSP microphone. I'm so blown away with what this microphone can do. It can do so much stuff. It's super useful for someone like me who creates content, who does live streams on social media, things like that. Genuinely, this does everything I need it to do. So that was me demonstrating how to basically set it up and then going through all the basic effects that it has, everything like that. Even creating my own custom reverb patch, which was super simple. And you got to hear a general gist of what it sounds like with speaking, as well as a bit of acoustic guitar, as well as even electric guitar, as well as even Bluetoothing music and playing electric guitar over backing tracks while speaking, basically everything. You know, there's a couple things that I didn't mention. So firstly, if you press and hold this button on the front of the microphone, that mutes it. So if you are using this microphone and you want to quickly mute the volume, then you just press and hold this button until the light flashes. So if the light is flashing, you know it's muted. So if you want to unmute it, press and hold the button on the front again, and then the light will go static, which means it's back live. But if you just press the button on the front of the microphone once, I believe you can then change the type of microphone that this is basically emulating. That's not something I've really looked into yet, but that's something for me to check out in future. But it's just another feature that this microphone has. It isn't just the one way. You can have multiple options with that too. So you can just press this button and have a play about with the different options that gives you also. Now, obviously I've talked a lot about the good things that this microphone does, but is there any bad things, any drawbacks? There is one that I've found, and that is basically, if I put the microphone down for a second, is that I have an iPhone, at least the one that I have. The newer versions are different, but the iPhone that I have isn't USB-C, it's Lightning. So to use this microphone with my iPhone, I need a converter cable. So I did actually buy two Lightning to USB-C converter cables, and none of them worked. And I have actually spoken to Cloudvocal about this, and they got back to me saying, yeah, you do need a specific type of converter to go from USB-C to old iPhone Lightning thing, which is not a normal USB-C to Lightning. They apparently don't work. It's an Apple USB to camera adapter cable. And they sent me a picture of this, and you can see that it's all hooked up and it is working. You can see the Cloudvocal microphone is on in the picture, so that does seem to be working there. So if you are on an older iPhone that doesn't have USB-C, like I said, the newer iPhones have USB-C, so it should be absolutely fine, but mine doesn't. So if I want to run this with my phone, I'm going to need to get that specific converter cable from Apple, which I believe retails for about $20 to $30, which is pretty expensive really. That's not a Cloudvocal issue, that's an Apple issue. That's just what Apple do. They like to make it so that you can only really use their things. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you have an older iPhone and you want to use this microphone, you're going to need that cable too. I've been using this with my laptop throughout this video, just so you know. I haven't actually had it plugged into my phone for any of these demonstrations or anything like that. It's all plugged straight into my laptop, recording it into GarageBand. But that's the only thing that I found when it came to using this microphone. But like I said, that's not an issue with the microphone, that's an issue with my phone / Apple. I'm actually going to make another video about this microphone soon, specifically for live streaming, because last year I made a video talking about how I set up my live streaming audio for TikTok live streaming and things like that. And that video has had about 60,000 views, and a lot of people saying that what I talked about in that video helped them achieve really, really great audio, and that was with other devices. Whereas this, I feel like will simplify the live streaming audio process so much that I want to make a video specifically about how to live stream with just this microphone, so stick around for that one if you're interested in that, of course. Now, if you want to pick up one of these Cloudvocal microphones, I do actually have a discount link in the description below, so go and click that link if you're interested in purchasing one of these microphones. I can't recommend it enough. I'm super impressed with it. I've probably said that 1,000 times in this video, but yeah, it's such a great microphone. So go and get one if you're interested, and you can get yourself a nice discount on your order. I want to say a huge thank you to the guys over at Cloudvocal for sending me this microphone to test out. I've really enjoyed it. But what do you guys think? Leave me a comment. If you've got any questions, also get them in the comment section and I'll get back to you. But that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave it a like, and as I said, leave me a comment, and stick around for the live streaming audio demo video, which I said is going to be coming out soon. If you're not yet subscribed to my channel, then make sure you do. I make lots of guitar and music related content, demonstrations and things like that, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. So take care.